Never gives me a phone. And burns. Do something other than Facebook. Never. No problems. Yeah. From the frozen food. Oh. They are combined expertise to answer your questions and introduce you to the clones. So like, oh. Wow. Losers! Yeah, we're losers! No! All righty, welcome to this rainy Sunday morning.
Lovely day. Lovely day.
An hour ahead of time than usual, or the way it should be. Ever how you look at it, Ed don't care. Just make up their mind and do one or the other.
Yeah.
You know, it don't matter to me.
I love that it has been attributed to being a Native American proverb. I don't think it is, but it says only an American would cut a foot off the bottom of a blanket, sew it to the top, and say, "I made the blanket longer."
There you go. Oh, by the way, you're listening to the Sip and Chew Show with Mike and Sue.
They say that in the song. We just don't ever listen.
But anyway, we're here.
Yeah,
we weren't late. Our phones set itself and woke us up on time, and we got here.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I didn't notice any difference at all.
I did because I stayed awake till almost time to change because I was busy doing something. Then
I was till 4. Did working on videos. I looked up and went, "Oh my gosh, it's 3:47. I may want to think about going to sleep."
There you go. But you got the rest of the day.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do when I go back home.
Mm-hmm.
When I go back home, I'm going back to bed.
And you head on back to the crib.
I'm going to go back to bed. I'm going to go to bed, but I'm going to go back to bed because that's where I was before I came here.
Yeah. Well, Michael, we are in the Lenten period.
Yes.
They are observing Lent. And what is something that happens in the fast food industry every year during Lent?
Fish.
Exactly. Everybody will add some kind of fish sandwich.
Yeah.
So I've done a little research, and I am happy, thrilled to report that every one of them is using wild-caught American fish.
Wow.
The majority of them are doing wild-caught Alaskan pollock. Culver's is doing, it's not wild-caught. They're doing walleye, but from, like Lake Michigan and stuff like that.
The Yankee fish.
Yeah. Have you ever had it? Delicious.
What did I have recently that they had a promo?
Probably burger.
I don't remember. No, that was Freddy's. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That was Freddy's.
Yeah. Totally unrelated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Freddy's is from California. I have not looked at what Freddy's fish sandwich is, but.
Well, I had
Culver's is walleye.
Mash burger. That's what it was.
Culver's is the walleye, and Popeyes is doing flounder.
Okay.
Everybody else is doing Alaskan pollock and possibly cod, but all wild caught from Alaska. I'm very encouraged by that.
I'm telling you, Wendy's and Arby's, those were the thickest ones there at least a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So you think they're listening?
I think they're learning, yeah.
Yeah, learning.
Well, you look at the dramatic, and if you look at the numbers, the dramatic fall off in sales that McDonald's and Burger King have had the last 15 years, 10 to 15 years, it's because people realize if I'm going to eat fast food, I need to find better fast food. Yeah. I need to get something that actually has nutritional value.
Right.
But McDonald's and Burger King have deprogrammed their food to such an extent, I've mentioned it before. McDonald's can't call their menu items food in certain countries in Europe because it said there's no nutritional value, there's no vitamins, no minerals. That's not food.
Especially the American menu.
Yeah, especially
places like Japan or other.
Correct.
They're really good.
Yeah. So now I'm on even Crystals is doing a wild caught Alaskan pollock slider. Yep. Even Crystals.
And they're out of were they out of Chattanooga, right? No, not so. You know
that.
Yeah. A couple of weeks ago,
when White Castle split, because the original company was White Castle.
Right.
They were famous for their Crystal burgers.
Right.
There was a split that went right across the Mason-Dixon line. So Crystal's the new entity, set their home office up at Knoxville. Nashville is the dividing border on a lot of those. So if you have a White Castle on the east side of Nolensville Pike, directly across the street on the west side is a Crystal's.
Yeah.
If you have a Captain D's, directly across the street will be a Long John Silver's.
Hmm.
So if you're craving that style, there's one on the right constantly. You can always turn to the right, go in one, come right back out, continue your journey. But Long John Silver's is greasier than Captain D's. And anyone that's ever eaten White Castle will tell you, tastes a whole lot like a Crystal, but the after effects are not the same. Crystal is the wholesome one.
Yeah.
that should
Every now and then I get a hankering for
delicious.
Crystal burger
They're delicious.
or when the chili dogs.
The chili cheese pups are
Oh, yeah.
outstanding.
That I like. Yeah.
Yeah,
I do.
Not so much. So I have a question for you on the fish. You're
Mhm.
stuck on fish. On the Long John Silver's and
Captain D's.
Captain D's, are they polished?
Well, we don't have Long John Silver's down here, so I don't know what they're doing.
What's the one in Sims? Oh, that's Captain D's.
Yeah, Captain D's. It's Alaskan pollock and Alaskan cod.
Okay.
What's the one on Highway 90? It's a loop.
I have no idea.
I'll look it up.
I don't think we have a Long John Silver's down here. We had one that opened inside the Kenny Rogers Roasters with the Nathan's hot dogs.
Hmm.
But you see, that's another one. I think they kind of split along the Mason
Captain D's.
Yeah, I've not seen Long John Silver's here, except like I said,
I remember seeing a Long John. Oh yeah, right down here on the corner.
yeah, it used to be an on airport.
Right across from Waterworld.
Oh, there was a Long John Silver's there.
Yeah. Right. No, yeah, right down there on the left hand side.
Oh, there's Captain D's down there.
Captain D's.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just get us all confused here. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, there used to be a Long John Silver on Hillcrest, I think, and now it's a Indian restaurant.
Actually, no, it's
There was a Captain D's on Hillcrest.
Yes.
Was that a
The
Captain-
only Long John Silver's we've ever had was the one that was inside Kenny Rogers Roasters.
Okay.
Yeah.
I liked Kenny Rogers.
Where was that?
Yeah.
Airport?
Yeah, it was on airport between University and Hillcrest. There's a whole shopping center there, but they had a Nathan Brothers hot dog in there.
Oh, and that, okay.
Yeah, they started out with Kenny Rogers Roasters, and apparently everybody else realized he should stick to singing.
Right there by Harbor Tools.
Yeah, so they added
Well, he only
Nathan's hot
they
dog.
only
to
paid him
Longo's.
for his name. He didn't.
Yeah,
It's like a lot of celebrity.
Yeah.
Like the Hard
Thing.
Rock. Wasn't it Hard Rock? Not Hard Rock. What was the other one? The Stallone and Schwarzenegger put together.
Oh, Planet Hollywood.
Planet Hollywood.
Yeah, just stick to acting or stick to singing. That's right.
When they opened the Planet Hollywood in Nashville, and the Hard Rock was around the corner, it was the same company that opened those.
Yeah.
And one of the guys that was one of the architects of Hard Rock Cafe looked at Nashville and said, "We could do a country theme like this." So they opened Hard Rock and then told him, said, "It's fantastic. But you're going to have to buy yourself out of this to do it.
Mm.
We're not doing a country music themed restaurant." So he took his payoff from Planet Hollywood and Hard Rock and opened a proof of concept in Music Row called the Nashville Country Club.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic restaurant.
Yeah.
But it didn't take off as a chain.
Mm-hmm.
But I had black and redfish there the only time I had it in Nashville. Phenomenal. And I like the concept. And it was a very similar thing. It's now you've got acoustic guitars that are signed by Hank Williams Jr. and all of this. Was a beautiful restaurant. And when it went under, the Judds bought it. And they opened a high class restaurant. He's looking at Facebook, I'm sure.
David Hubb. David Hubb will just say.
Share it quick. We got a
I
commercial.
think you're right, David. I don't remember after Diamonds opened up. I don't remember any more Captain D's.
Caligula's.
Caligula, yeah, that was it. I hope they opened after it was a Captain D. Not before. Boy, it's food's fishing. Hey, 251-343-0106 is the call in line. Let's hear about your Captain D stories.
Owning and everything.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense for a strip club to take over a Cat and D's because they don't have to clean it.
That's a fish of a different smell. I mean, a different.
I don't have to change.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
There's the ultimate cheeseburger. Cheese meat, cheese, and more cheese.
Finds excellence on both sides of the bay.
So
This issue is
we're looking at why do we even do fish in the first place, Joanne?
A lot of people give up red meat for Lent.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the, that and alcohol are the two most popular things people do.
So that ought to tell you something about the Catholic.
Yeah.
That ought to tell you everything.
Yeah, so I gave up Catholicism
Did you hear that?
for Lent.
E-bike states.
I don't have to worry about nothing.
Better bicycles. Time to get to the corner of your well, keep swallowing bikes and then hurt bicycles, everything in.
Chances are you or someone you know
Oh,
is
Lauren Murphy sure does put a lot of miles on her car.
just like most things in life. If you ignore it, it won't go away.
Life of a musician.
Open truck. You know what this is?
What?
Open truck. We would like to talk with Sip and Chill
Go recovery center.
with wants to about open truck.
Just tell them, send us a message.
Want to stop the downward.
Oh, I can't.
Spike has been on.
Because you got your phone in your hand?
Efforts.
I don't know where it's popping up.
Finds you.
Did it pop up in the chat? Yeah, you can respond to every one of those. Just click on them.
Quick plan.
It works just like any other chat.
Regardless of what stage of addiction you're in. What kind of addiction in your life? Call 800-950-0248. That's 800-950-0248. 800-950-0248.
Hi, I'm Dolly Parton. Experts all agree that by reading with your child every day, you can spark their imagination and further early education.
Imagination Library is dedicated to inspiring and
Love it when they do the their
charge for
advertising segment over cell phone, don't you, Steve?
Register your child on the website and you'll start receiving books through the mail. Go to imaginationlibrary.com. That's imaginationlibrary.com.
It's a platform that helps food trucks open their, reach
Station.
more customers.
It's time for a checkup Monday at 1:50. When Sean talks with Dr. Luke Enterpriser from Alta Point.
You got your phone in your hand, reply to them.
Crisis.
Tell them to send us a direct message. See what we can do.
Monday at 1:50 on FM Pop 106.5. Mike Bailey, Stuart and Donald. Complete.
Big Brother and
Talk 106.5.
Are you the big butter man or the big egg man?
Just big,
Yeah.
just big, biggie big.
One of us is the big
That's my rap.
butter and one of us is the big egg man.
That's my rap handle is biggie big.
Oh, my MC name is DJ Papa Squat. So I'm just gonna sit down right over here while y'all handle all that rapping.
What do they call you when you go back home?
I have a dog.
And there's Sims. When you go back home,
Sims.
what do they call you out there? Same
That
thing.
dude that stays in his house and doesn't talk to anybody.
That man's crazy in that house out there.
Yeah.
Don't go in that yard. He likes his biscuits.
So hit a milestone on Delta Safari.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Man.
1,000 subscribers.
Don't worry.
That's the first qualification to start getting monetized.
Okay.
Now I need to get my viewing hours up, and then I can actually make money off of that. But to celebrate, I treated myself to a USDA Prime New York strip.
You know, I've got to where I like New York strips more
Delicious.
than anything else nowadays.
It's a steakier tasting steak.
I like my steak
Yeah.
steakier taste.
Yeah, you're going to get more of the minerality and all that. The ribeye. Yeah, the ribeye because
It
of
is
the fat.
how it work.
Yeah.
Back home it's worked for me.
Yeah, but the ribeye because of the fat content is kind of dominated by that fat,
Yeah.
which is delicious. No problems with love of ribeye. The filet really doesn't have much flavor at all. It's all about the texture. You have to add a sauce or some kind of fat to filet to taste the steak. That's That's the trade-off with the tenderness that comes from a tenderloin. But you
Mhm.
put in, a little melted butter on top. I mean, just something simple, a little olive oil, and the filet wakes up. You just, they're not that flavorful by themselves.
You raise a good question. I have a box full of Omaha steaks.
Mhm.
Sirloin,
Mhm.
and I have not done them yet because I really don't know how to prepare them.
How do you like your steak cooked?
No red. I like a little pink.
Well, you need to have them grind that up. Oh, yeah, pink. Yeah, medium. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just cook it like medium. Just with sirloin, you've got less marbling,
Yeah.
which is where the New York street, however you cook a steak,
Hmm.
you pan sear it and put it in your air fryer, put it on a grill.
I could cook a perfect steak on the air fryer.
Really?
It mine has a setting for that, and I could do a fillet.
You don't bother reading the instructions or anything like that.
I do a fillet in 8 minutes, and it's perfect
Wow.
because it'll tell you when to flip.
For what he's getting, you're wanting closer medium to medium well, and
Mhm.
that's
Yeah,
filet is a steak you should stay away from at those temperatures. You lose everything about the steak once you get above medium on a filet.
Hmm.
You get a ribeye go medium well done, you still got a delicious
just
steak.
what's the
Tough either.
Yeah.
what I like
I
doing?
don't want to eat red meat.
If I do it in a pan, I'm gonna put some butter.
Yeah. Now, the more you cook any steak, the tougher it gets. A
Yeah.
well done steak will always be
Yeah.
10 times as tough as a medium well,
Yeah.
which is 3 times as tough as a medium. The more you cook it, the tougher it gets because everything that
Right.
makes it tender is
Going
cooked out.
away.
Yeah. But yeah, you were doing butter.
I do a clarified butter,
Mhm.
and I keep a sprig of rosemary in there, and that becomes my brush,
Mhm.
and I just brush it on the meat, and then you can
Keeps it
if you pan fry, just keep your spoon there and just throw that hot butter on top.
Yeah.
But I mix my butter with oil.
Mhm. It gives you a higher smoke point.
Yeah, and then you can sear it on the stove and then put it in the oven, or you start it in the oven. That's a reverse searing, and then finish it on the stove.
I did a reverse sear with mine in a little different manner. I was already smoking a chuck roast. So when I put the chuck roast on, I threw the ribeye or the strip down over the coals, but I'm smoking. I don't have a lot of heat.
Mm-hmm.
So it probably spent 20 minutes total on the smoker. And you're thinking, oh, that was rare
Yeah,
because of the low heat.
Yeah.
Then I take it in the air fryer just to get it crisped up on the outside. I used no Dale's, no soy sauce. It was just salt, pepper, garlic, and a little rosemary.
Hmm.
And it was one of the best steaks I have ever cooked in my life. That smoke flavor
mm-hmm.
in just 20 minutes at the low heat
Yeah.
permeated especially the fat. Because the old the old adage that people always quote is the flavor's in the fat, but there's no flavor in fat. It doesn't contain flavor. It picks up the flavors of everything else and spreads it evenly over your palate. So now,
Technically
yeah.
it is.
yeah, right. But it has no flavor on its own. If you, like people will, well, bacon fat has flavor. Yeah, but not from the fat.
No.
It's from the smoke and the curing process. If you get a jar of lard from the grocery store,
Right.
that is exact same thing as bacon fat. It just doesn't have smoke in it. Taste it. You don't taste anything. Tastes just like Crisco. Right. Well, not nasty, just
Just
no
flat.
flavor.
Yeah.
It's neutral. Yeah. Duck fat has some flavor to it. Delicious.
does.
Yeah, duck fat is delicious. You toss potatoes and duck fat, throw those in the oven. That is phenomenal.
Why that is.
It is a polyunsaturated fat, and most animal fats are saturated fats, monosaturated. That's probably got something to do with it. This is why it's also healthy. It's omega-3s versus omega-6s is what it comes down to. The saturated fats, which is butter, that sets up as a solid,
Right.
those are your saturated fats. Olive oil is a polyunsaturated fat.
Liquid.
Fish oil, yeah, they stay liquid. Now you put olive oil in the refrigerator and it'll congeal, it'll thicken up. It won't get like shortening,
Right.
but it'll get thicker like melted butter. And that may be the difference on the duck fat, is that it's a polyunsaturated fat. It's not one, the fat on duck is not born from their diet, it is born from evolution. They evolved to have layers of fat because it makes them buoyant and they can float in the water. geese have the same layer of fat. Also, goose fat fries, one of the best French fries you'll ever eat.
Duck fat
Yep.
fries.
Hmm.
I mean, that bar downtown, it's no longer there.
Yeah, pickle fish. Well, the bar's there.
No,
it's not pickle fish.
It was after pickle
Yeah,
fish,
yeah.
before
Yeah, before beer garden.
they did chimay and duck fat fried fries.
Hmm.
Delicious. Great
Yeah.
combination.
But the Della Chase over in New Orleans does the goose fat fries. And they are the original Belgian style, probably a half-inch thickness on the fries, 4 to 5 inches long, come in a cup with dipping sauces.
Mhm.
Those French fries are worth the drive to New Orleans for, or the train ride.
Right.
And I wish some members of our local media here and in Mississippi would stop with this narrative that the Mardi Gras train, Amtrak, has killed 5 people. It hasn't killed anyone. You got 5 people. You got 3 people who made dumb decisions and a few other people who died as a result of their stupid decisions.
Yeah. You don't try to outrun a train
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah. Somebody sat down with just parked with their camera phone on one of the train tracks down in around Paget Switch and sat there for like 5 minutes
Mm-hmm.
and had 3 people. There's a line of traffic waiting because the thing is down. The person in the back drives past everyone and snakes through and almost got hit by a train.
Yeah.
And it happens, they say, every time a train comes through. There's someone down there that just doesn't want to wait on the train and tries to race it.
Yeah.
And they are tragedies, and we hate that these things happen, but we have some local media that are trying to pin it on Amtrak
Well,
because
trying to blame
they
it on-
didn't want the Amtrak here. Plain and simple.
They had a text here that says, guys, back in the day when you would ask someone how they wanted their steak cooked, what I remember my grandfather asking, saying, and knock the horns off, wipe its butt, and put it to it. Thanks, John. Indeed, that was the way my dad did it. He just flip it on the grill, come it home, and there you go.
Mhm.
I've got to have
That's a little bit
The little
more.
star on the outside.
Yeah.
That's where you set a lot of flavor in. Is the Maillard reaction on the outside of the steak.
Yeah, that was the way Dad always liked to cook.
Mhm.
He just barely throw it on the. That was it.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, you can hear
Right.
it. You can hear it sizzle, flip, plop. It went on the plate. I'd be like,
I was in North Carolina one time and I ordered a hamburger and I wanted it medium, and they said, no, state law is we have to serve everything well done.
and isn't that part of what happened? Is in standardization in a restaurant, you had to have it at a certain. You couldn't get certain things because of laws or
It
health.
depends on the grunt. Like in Alabama, you can't get a medium rare burger in Alabama. It's illegal
Okay.
unless you're serving small batch grinds, which is your certified Angus beef, or if you grind it in-house or have it ground locally. But the big tubes that you see at Sam's Club, if they're cooking those medium rare, they're breaking the law and they're taking risk with your health. But people who eat rare and medium rare burgers and steaks know what the risks are.
Yeah.
That's why there's a separate law for kids. As the parent, you don't have the right to tell the restaurant it's okay to cook my kid's burger medium rare. The restaurant can't do it. They're children. They have to make that decision themselves. Since they're not 18, they can't. And you as their parent, you don't get to make the decision. Now, we try and accommodate on that, but the state law, there were 2 different state laws in Alabama. One, if it's frozen, it's got to be medium well or above. If it's for a kid, it's got to be medium well or above.
Gotcha.
251-343-01, Alt 6.
5-6. Danny Calamelli coming up next.
Like Roy, legally he can't cook the temperature. Legally, Roy can't cook the temperature because he doesn't use certified Angus beef. But adults understand, who eat their burgers like that, understand what the risks are.
Got a text through from Danny
Service of a locally owned
Jarhead. Okay. Yeah. Jarhead. Or another rose from Danny Calamelli with the whole community.
It's on my phone.
Okay, I got it. Thank you.
No, I'm not, we're not, how can I send them a message? Dude? I've tried this before. Open truck.
Danny or?
Host.
Sir.
Right there.
Says Danny.
Well, if you gotta put it on open truck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm gonna put you on hold here, sir. Hold on.
Okay.
And now it's showing up here too
Danny.
as well.
Yes, sir.
All right. We got you now.
All right,
Hang on a second.
Then you got a drop down menu here, delete comment, lock user. Then you just add open truck. That's how you talk to anybody in any chat is. And then now I'll type your reply, which is just hit us in the private, send us a private message and we'll make it happen. That's just a normal chat. And that's how they work on YouTube and anything else too. Just put at and whoever you're replying to. And it'll highlight it on them.
Time again for the nappies already?
Time to start voting. Well, they spend 6 months of the year on it because you do 3 months of hype, you know, all that. Because I was talking to this lady about an event that she was doing, and like, we really don't help with that. And I said, but having, you know, done a lot of PR for these things, you need to start calling TV stations and booking cooking demos 3 months before your event. You don't want to try and get on the week before you. It's
You
too
don't
late.
get any kind of good
Yeah.
coverage. Yeah.
You gotta start 3 months out.
Yeah. Awareness is everything, but it takes a while.
Yeah. Because we've had people that we put on here that were having an event that day. They felt nothing from it. It's too late. Everyone's already made their decision.
Well, it used to be, you know, it used to be that when you were the only team in town, they were the only people that were listening.
Mhm.
Think about how splintered
Yeah.
we are now. How many radio stations, how many YouTubes, how many, you know, everything.
Podcasts.
Podcast,
Spotify,
every
Apple
other digital form, it just keeps fractioning that pie.
Yep.
You know, can you listen to all of it once? No.
We got somebody else on the call, don't we? Online?
Yeah, Danny's ready.
I know who the other.
It's on the other, so.
Oh, Daria?
Yeah.
I do a lot of things around the.
Yeah. Well, we don't need to discuss some of those on air, man. you know, the federal government's listening, Mike.
Not like they did when they were upstairs. Anyway, I think we got old Danny Calametti on. Uh-oh.
Oh, that was funny.
You're gonna have to turn down that radio a little bit.
He's in the background somewhere. Well, how's it going, Danny?
Populate a little bit. I cooked chili all day yesterday, and I missed my hour this morning because I sprayed myself with the cooking hose and stuffed over a mop bucket, but I'm getting things cleaned up. Wow, it was a busy day yesterday. We did cook some fine chili though. We competed in wild game. We did a venison chili.
Mm.
And it really worked out well. The recipe, we used fresh squeezed orange juice and lime juice to kind of make sure we take care of any gaminess.
Mm-hmm.
And then to add fat back to it, we did some Billy's bacon bits, some pork fat. So it turned out really well. Everybody that tried it loved it. Now, you know, somebody, oh, I don't eat wild game. So, well, have you ever tried this? You know,
Yeah.
we had. Ours was more of a flavor profile. We had several people say some of the other wild games were more spice, a lot of spice to them.
Mhm.
But it turned out good, and you know they raise a lot of money for Cancer Society, for American Cancer Society, so that's always good. But it does make for a long day or two.
Hmm.
I do have to brag on a friend of mine. Well, part of I'm on that team too, but that's our Bras Across the Causeway.
Yes, I saw that.
The Brosway folk. The Brosway.
folks.
Yeah.
So Lee and Kathy Smith headed up that team, and they won first place in the meat and beans. So this is the first time they competed. Lee loves chili, and Kathy likes to help him cook, so it works out well. Kathy,
Yeah.
So they did a great job, and they raised a lot of awareness about what we do on the Broad Squash Causeway side of it, which is, that's our breast cancer fund that goes to directly help patient care. So, we've managed to pay some power bills and some insurance bills and just whatever financial need that somebody meets the qualifications for us, but they're dealing with breast cancer and all that, those related expenses. The other expenses also tend to pile up, and so we're proud to help folks with that piece of it. So anyway, but it was a good day. It's a good day. Weather turned out well.
Oh yeah.
And so speaking of past deals, Friday night I was doing setup. So I got down there and got all that set up, and I talked to my daughter, and she was saying that she was looking for some gumbo. So it got me. So I picked her up, and I made my first trip. I have been meaning to get over there to Stevie's Kitchen over on
good place,
Florida Street.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, Chef Watford, Chef Stevie does such a great job with gumbo. He's won several of my gumbo contests, but I haven't been able to get over to Stevie's Kitchen on Florida yet. That's the old whistle stop up
right
at the train track.
Mm-hmm.
And oh man, gumbo was fabulous. We were just going to have gumbo, but he had a fried catfish special. It was a fried catfish fillet smothered in a Creole crawfish sauce. Oh, it was delicious. It was absolutely delicious.
That does sound good. Really good, because I didn't have breakfast yet.
Well, Chef Stevie, he's keeping busy. He's got the cafe over at the Battleship. He's got this one. He's got a Midtown location. He's just really staying busy.
Yeah, he built that up from the ground up too. He started out in the bank building there over off of Dolphin and 65.
Yeah, he's still over there too.
He had a place. No, it wasn't Stevie's, but he had a place downtown for a long time because he was worked for Alabama Crown. Then he did that, or he went from that to Alabama Crown. But I know he was there on Dolphin Street one time. But anyway, always had a great product.
Gumbo shop out of that Dolphin Street location. It's not a retail spot. I mean, it's not open for sit down business. But, but he's busy. He's a busy man. So so anyway, and speaking of busy, I'm gonna get Mr. Bailey a little busy next Saturday night.
Yes, sir.
And Roy and she were coming over to help me judge some food contests. So that's gonna be a nice event in Long Beach. They had a late change in venue. There was the place they were in last couple of years had some new rules they were implemented, and we're trying to just make it a little bit more complicated than it needed to be. Mayor Long Beach said, y'all come on down to the west a little bit. So we moved down to Long Beach. It's gonna be on the town green there. It's a Friday, Saturday event. It's gonna be as an event organizer, when you've got the local folks that want to embrace you, that wanted it, that just makes all the business in the world. And Long Beach is just super. And I got the chance to meet him last week. Just a great guy. Just really excited about having him down there. So Friday there's barbecue for a World Food Championship golden ticket, and then there's chili for first responders. It's a less formal judging. We're gonna have some celebrity judges down there, but I've already told
plus Mike.
Mike's not working on Friday night. We're saving him for Saturday night. But he doesn't really count as a celebrity judge in my book. I know him too well.
Thanks, Danny.
So there's music, and there's all kind of tasting. The distiller's going to be there, and so there's lots of beer folks on board, and it's just going to be a great time. It's a big fundraiser for the Mississippi Heroes, and they build access ramps for veterans and other folks who are can't get in and out of their homes. So they do a great job with that. And then we're going to repeat Saturday. Saturday will be bacon and burgers. And Billy's got some. I think I told you this last time. He's going to send some bacon down there for dipping in their chocolate fountain.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be fun. But so we got Rory working with Mike on bacon, and probably won't have them do both, but probably get them doing the bacon one. And then we've still got some Fonts Bagel and burger. So
hey, no argument out of me, man. None whatsoever.
Mike wants to make sure that he only eats diet bacon, though.
Now, there you go.
Yeah, diet bacon.
That turkey bacon.
No, it's still pork bacon. It's just the diet kind. You know what the difference is, don't you, Mike? You go, oh, I have to eat this because I'm on a diet. That's your diet bacon. I have to eat
So there
it.
you go.
But I'm on a
See,
diet.
I get it now.
Yeah.
I did enjoy this steak conversation earlier, guys, and I'm a medium rare guy. I'm not a steak tartare guy. I do like mine.
I do like steak tartare now. I do enjoy steak tartare. When Culinard was open, they did one of their grand buffets, and they did steak tartare with USDA prime ribeye, and then
That might be.
and then they did a tuna tartare, and everyone else like, oh, that you raw meat, and Lubitz and I are like, we'll eat it all then. And we just said, no one else is touching this incredible steak tartare. We don't want the kids' feelings to get hurt. That's what it was about, David. We just didn't want the kids' feelings to get hurt. So we'll eat all that steak and tuna tartare for you. I ain't scared.
That'll work. That'll work. Yeah, so I like to have some good grill marks on my steak, and
Mhm.
it's one of my. I'm not the. I like the steak competition. That's a good competition. Steak cooker. They're a good competition, and they cook up some good steaks. But their target, and I understand it has to be this way. Their target, from a judging perspective, is everybody has to cook a medium steak.
Right.
Well, you got to pick something when you're judging, when you're putting a criteria out there. So that's why they went with medium. But it's not how I have my druthers when I'm cooking steak. But anyway, but they still turn them up good. They do mostly have they're spiced up and they're sauced up and all that type of stuff, but they still turn out to be pretty good steak. So that all works. I'm at the. I got leftover chili I'm eating today. I don't think I'm gonna do a steak today.
Chili and scrambled eggs.
I'm not living downtown anymore. I forgot all about that chili cook-off.
Oh, hey, I mean, I will tell you, I did not taste anybody else's chili because I was cooking and serving all day long.
Mhm.
Except for I did taste the chili. It was really good as a homemade chili. Cammie was there cooking her daddy's chili.
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to taste hers as well. So she was there.
Chili ice cream.
No, it wasn't chili ice.
Oh.
She did have some ice cream available for the kids arena, but no, she was cooking down the bay chili. So that was after her daddy. So give a shout out. Cammie's always did all this stuff, and of course I had my ace in the hole. Deborah Hodges was my spice girl.
Yeah.
So she was on board to help us control that, and I had a few other folks in there helping us. So it was a good time. Talked to a lot of people. And like I say, had people who were all about the wild game, and then other people were a little bit reluctant until I convinced them to try it. I had somebody said, "Oh, I just tasted something that wasn't very good." I said, "Well, you hadn't tasted mine yet."
When the two times that I competed back in the early 2000s, there was this trend in Mobile of everyone putting something sweet in their chili. They're like, our secret is we put a whole jar of honey in it. We put a whole jar of maple syrup. Some of the worst chili I've ever had, but they were fantastic baked beans. That's what it.
Yeah.
If you have beans and you put something sweet in there, what you have made is baked beans, not chili.
Yeah.
But it was delicious baked beans.
I got introduced to Fireball at chili cook-off back 20 years ago. And it was mixed with sweet tea.
Oh, that's weird.
It was weird, and I tried it, and I kept coming back because it was a cold, rainy day that day,
And it was alcohol, and that's all you get.
and I was feeling good, warm and fuzzy on the inside.
Warm and fuzzy. Yeah. Well, Danny, we're up against the break. If anyone wants any information about all the things you got going on, where can they go?
My Facebook page, Danny Calamani, or the Alabama Coast Facebook page. So both of those work pretty well.
Yeah, you getting ready for a busy spring, aren't you?
I am loading it up. Well, I hadn't really taken much of a break, but all right, guys. Thanks, man.
All right,
Danny.
Danny. Thank you, buddy. As always.
Always giving back, those Calumetti boys.
Yeah,
Giving back to the community.
Yep. So
Yeah, man, that was so weird. Those two, it was like 03 and 04, everybody was putting something sweet in their chili, and I'm going around like, all of this chili is terrible.
Martha Stewart must have done it.
Yeah. 251-343, Alt 1, Alt 6. We got one segment left. The song that played every week for 10 years, and Mike goes, we should get this song added to the thing. It plays every week, right? What?
I was thinking about that.
To you, sir. Thank you.
There was another one I said about. Oh, it's
50 years.
scenes from an Italian restaurant.
Yeah.
Street style, artist, Nightingale.
And it plays just about
I
it.
didn't play, listen to the bumper music.
Yeah.
Since she was filled with.
And it never rotated with Charles. It was the same bumper music every week. And he's like, I can't figure out how to make it randomized. And Steve comes in one day, he goes, just tell it to play them in alphabetical order. It won't repeat until it goes through the entire alphabet. That's why we have different music now. It's a good little workaround.
I hadn't heard Eat Steak in a while. Eat Steak.
It'll come up when we get back to the E.
You're going to have.
Yeah, we got over 100.
With another vehicle, God forbid, a pedestrian, then really bad things can happen. And with more.
And then
There were tall ones, short ones.
Don't just have a particular company
That's it.
that's delivering.
You know that song.
I was listening to some AI generated thing talking about
To have very.
rock music, and it goes, and that is when he joined the band Lynard Skynard. Oh, you're
I
AI.
can't stand it. When I hear that, I just block it.
Look at all the.
Unfollow it, whatever.
I don't mind if you're going to use AI voices, but listen to it and fix the mistakes. I was on last night, it said, and that's when they incorporated characters from Agents of S, A, I, E, L. The Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., moron, it's an acronym. It's a Marvel thing. Remember, Nick Fury was the lead agent in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Well, they had a TV series called Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And that's what they were talking about. But it just said each letter with a gap because there's a period after it. Listen to your AI, tweak the words so that you get it phonetically right.
Your source of support.
But usually the ones that don't do it, they don't speak English, so they don't know there's a mistake.
There's there's a woman's voice and a man's voice, always the same voice, but it's AI.
Yeah, because to them, that sounds like every American.
Mobile.
Yeah,
Or mobile.
yeah. And that's usually an indication that the people doing it either don't listen to it, they just trust the AI to do everything, which is lazy, or they don't speak English, they don't know it's making
I
mistakes.
tell you what, I want to get the whole set of all the shows about
Sentence fragments?
up there in North
Stutter?
Alabama. Where the recording studio.
Muscle Shoals?
I want to get all that, every bit of it.
Oh, that's
Watch all the stories.
hours and hours and stuff.
I'd
That'd be
love
good. Muscle Shoals, Mike here.
Yes, sir. I want
Have you been to Muscle Shoals?
to, never, I have not been to that corner of the,
Same here.
I want to go to that corner and go to the Rattlesnake Saloon.
Yeah.
And then see all the other waterfalls.
See, it's designed to point at your face,
Mm-hmm.
not sideways. See, you complain about me having the mic in front of my face. Like 20 people may see this video. We've got almost 13 people listening on the tube.
Can't wait.
Yeah. So,
Anyway.
Sorry, how are you?
Hey,
hey,
Darian, how are you,
what's up,
buddy?
buddy? We're live and kicking.
Well, I heard your comment about the ducks and the geese. They got all that fat to keep them floating. I know some people who float. Does that mean they're half duck or half?
No, but when I took diet lessons, my weight was an issue because fat is buoyant, and fat people actually have to weight their suits more than I would on don't want to say normal size.
I call foul.
Yeah.
Call foul.
But yeah, you have to use more weights when you are chubby when you dive because the fat is buoyant. It takes more weight to get you down to depth.
Well, guys, I am fixing to go throw a roast in the crock pot, and I wanted to see if y'all had any tips. I've got a good about a 3-pound roast.
Beef or pork?
Beef.
Okay.
Got my Lipton onion soup mix, some cream of mushroom soup, some little baby carrots, and some yellow gold potatoes and some sweet onions. So
here is the tip that for all crock pot dishes. You don't start the dish in the crock pot. It's a 2-dish. Crock pot dishes are not 1-pot dishes. You take that beef roast, hit it with a little flour, salt, and pepper, just not a whole lot of flour like you're frying it, just a coating. Get an iron skillet and brown it, then put it in your crock pot. Take a little water to deglaze that iron skillet, pour that in the crock pot, and it will be 10 times better than it's ever been before. You're losing.
It out ready.
There you go. And that's how you do crock pot cooking. You brown it in iron skillet and then move it to the crock pot for the finishing part. When you dump everything in, you lose the texture that comes from the Maillard reaction, which we were talking about with the steaks. That's where flavor comes from. It's where texture comes from. When you throw everything in the crock pot, you're just eating a bunch of boiled food. So start it in that iron skillet just to brown it. Put it in your crock pot, and like I say, deglaze that skillet. Well, what if you're doing beef stock or anything like that? Water, doesn't matter. Beer, just deglaze it. Add that to your crock pot. Yeah. Well, there's not going to be any alcohol in the beer or wine if you want to deglaze with a little red wine, because now you're
cooking that.
You're having beef bourguignon.
Yeah,
it's just you're braising it in red wine instead of some other liquid. That's essentially the difference between beef bourguignon, beef burgundy, and just beef.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of like the way I do my pork chops when I cook them in the oven low and slow. I'll put a beer under the broiler pan or Dr. Pepper or something up under there, and it seems it keeps the meat moist, and it does give it a little bit of flavor, but there is no alcohol. You can't get drunk off a rib,
right?
Well,
yeah, well, that's that technique that you're talking about. That's called braising, where it's partial. You have liquid on the bottom but dry on top, so you get the best of both worlds. You get the Maillard reaction that comes with roasting. You get the tenderness that comes with boiling. So you're combining the two, and that's called braising. And it is a wonderful way to cook any, especially a tough but flavorful meat like brisket. You can do brisket braising it, just a little beer in the bottom of that, salt and pepper. You'd be amazed at how good it is. A flank steak, a London broil, any of those, great braising. I love that method.
There you go.
It has taught me a lesson about cooking ribs, because I used to do them straight on the grill, and you better have some good teeth if you're going to eat them like that.
It sounds like you're cooking them at too high a heat. Low and slow.
Used to parboil them beforehand.
Oh my! That's Yankee ribs, man. You just hurt my soul. Turn in your Southern card, Jarhead. Yankee ribs. Yeah, a friend of mine's like, in Chicago, we always had really tender ribs. We boil them for 30 to 45 minutes and just throw them on a gas grill. That's not ribs. I mean, it's the bones with meat on it, but low and slow. I did spare ribs last week. They were on the smoker 5 hours. Tender as they could be, delicious.
I don't want fall off the bone.
Yeah.
I like a little cut.
Yeah, fall off the bone. In competition circles, fall off the bone is you just burnt your ribs, you just lost.
Maybe for beef ribs, but not for pork ribs.
Yeah.
I tell you what, now I'm not a paid advertiser for this guy, but Bama Bob has some of the best ribs that you will ever put in.
I'm gonna ask him.
Mike is a Bama Bob's truther.
I'm gonna ask him if he gave you any money to say that. Bobby,
he's got cool TikTok videos too.
I like his videos.
Yeah, he does cool TikToks if you haven't seen them, Jarhead. Bama Bob does.
Looks like he's got little people's faces sticking out from underneath his arms in his TikTok.
He catered a dinner for us at the Stripers, and it was delicious. And even the coleslaw was absolutely delicious.
Oh, you're a striper too?
Yes, I am.
You and Roy and Bobby and
Hey, it's a secret society.
All
Mark.
the DIPers.
It's a secret society, Mark.
Not anymore.
Well, that's why I call it as jargon. I don't give you my real name.
There yeah, Mike's out here throwing other people's real names out.
Now, Bobby does have good coleslaw.
Yeah.
I like his coleslaw.
All right, Jarhead, you got anything else for us today, sir?
Oh, nothing else. I'll be listening to the rest of the show, and you guys have a great day. Prolong.
All right, buddy.
No problem, buddy. Thank you, sir.
By the way, Don texted in, said, guys, if I may, please don't forget about the Cajun Cook-Off coming at the end of March. And thank the gentleman for those in our lives that have cancer, either directly or indirectly in their life.
The Cajun Cook-Off is one of the great newer
Oh, I love it.
cook-offs. I competed in the first one when I was at Lucky. I think we came in fourth. But and then you and I have done it since then. It's just a great fun. That first one, they were like, we don't know how many people show up. Maybe 800 and 4,000 showed up.
Wow.
Ran out of food fast.
Well, the weather was perfect.
Yeah,
Goodness.
Weather was
I
perfect.
didn't know that was going to be.
They always have good music too. I love
Mhm.
music.
Well, that was when we went. Was the debut of those high school kids band. That was their first one.
Yeah.
Something Dogs.
Stereo Dogs. Oh, you talking about great?
Yeah, that was their first live performance too. We were all blown away.
Yeah. I've seen them around town at other places, and the Red Clay Strays cut their teeth there a little bit too.
That's
Very
what,
great.
in Cathedral Square?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure is. And it's just a beautiful venue
Mm-hmm.
to hold something like that. It
Yeah.
really is.
Yeah.
Really is.
Yeah. And so, we love the Cajun cook-off.
Did they benefit was child advocacy?
Yeah. Yeah. Child advocacy.
Now, the chili food, I like where they hold it at now, over there on Canal Street. It's really a good area to do that. We were going to go look at some puppy dogs
Mhm.
for adoption yesterday. Then we found out the cook-off was going on and said, well, we'll have to walk 2 miles to get
Mhm.
there because of the parking, But, and we worried about it raining too, so didn't want to do that. But anyway, they looked like they had a great day for it.
Mhm.
And that helps a lot when you got a cooperative weather
Yeah.
to have your event, and it's not too hot. But
Yeah.
hey, get out there, support local,
Mhm.
and we got a provolone, guys.
Provolone. Provolone.
That's all it is to it. We got a provolone.
That catch you off guard, did it?